Morning, everybody. I'm out here with the cats. About 6 o'clock in the morning. A little bit after 6. What's up? What's up? What's up, Leia? I'm in boxers. Yeah, sue me. It's early. Um, I decided I'm going to do some sort of a daily vlog here for Marginal Boundaries. I mentioned over the holidays that I might do this. Chris may participate. I'm usually up really early. Like today, I've been up since 3 o'clock doing video production for the other channel and just getting a bunch of scripts written, and I think I did 3 videos this morning and wrote 2 scripts. And then after this, I'm going to be going into some chapter work because I got a book I got to finish up by the end of January for our Patreon page for the game dev stuff. Anyway, I like to come out early in the morning. We usually take a walk around 6:37. Here comes Mary. You want to come say hi, Mary? Meow, it's a good girl. How you doing? Meow. Our chicken coop. I used to do many years ago with Marginal Boundaries. What are you talking about, Smeagol? He's looking at something in the tree. Used to do walkabouts in Cancun years ago when YouTube was never more than just a storage space for the blog. And blogs, I don't even know, are blogs still a thing these days? I don't know. I haven't done anything with our Marginal Boundaries website in 5 years, since the end of 2017, so 18, 19, 20, 21, 25 years. Haven't touched the website, haven't written a blog post. I don't even know if blogs are still a thing anymore. Maybe I should look into that, I don't know. But anyway, I used to do these tip videos of living in Mexico and what's it like down here, because I've spent most of my time down here since I came down here at the end of 2010. I've had permanent residency since 2015. We were splitting our time between the U.S. and here, splitting the time between my brother's ranch in Missouri, the cattle ranch, and here. But because of the pandemic stuff, travel has just become a pain in the butt. So after we bought the property here, we just kind of focused on this last year and just hunkered down. And, we had lots of stuff to do. I had to get the chicken coop built and the cat shelter and get we had the rescue cats that turned from 2 into 7 and everything else. Let me get a chair so I can sit down because it's really uncomfortable kneeling there. Anyway, get sitting here with the chicken coop. That might not be a bad view. I would love to get grass. That's a long-term thing because of the rain and just the way this property drains. We're at the bottom of the hill, which I've talked about in other videos. Anyway, what are we going to talk about today? I'm 3 minutes in. I don't know. It's a vlog. Morning vlog. Smeagol, are you being naughty? You are being naughty. Chris and I are both trying to figure out where that piece of plastic pipe came from. We can't figure it out. Cats are being cats, playing. It's a nice breezy morning this morning. It's been about 92 degrees the past few days. We do have another rain front coming through at the end of the week. That's going to cool it down to the low to mid 80s. That'll be nice. Anyway, rambling stuff. I don't know what I want to do for a new series. I suppose some of this will be asking folks like you, what do you want to see and hear from me about? I used to do lots of, tips for living in Cancun, and those did very well for the channel for a long time. If you go look at the old blog, even the YouTube, our old videos, like how to find an apartment in Cancun, cost of living in Cancun, those were all things that were very, very popular, 7-8 years ago. I don't know what's popular these days. I know people are doing van life stuff these days in the travel space. I see a lot of pensioner posts, people living in Cancun, but it's all people who are living off in in resorts. And so I'll see people. I laughed about this kind of stuff. Because I'll see people making posts about Playa del Carmen, right? Which we used to live in Playa del Carmen and Cancun. And you'll see people making posts about cost of living in Mexico. And they'll make this post from a condo in Playa del Carmen where they're spending $2,500 a month in rent. And then they brag about that like it's some, really important thing. And it's because they're from New York City or London or, San Francisco, where they're used to paying like $6,000 a month in rent. So they're getting something for a third of the cost. And so for them, that's a really big deal. But then I look at stuff like that and I think, my God, you are overpaying because you're a foreigner who doesn't speak Spanish. Because the real cost of living in Mexico, what we used to do and what I used to preach was live like a local, and that was the motto of all the guidebooks we used to sell on Marginal Boundaries years ago, was how to live like a local in Sofia, Bulgaria, and Bogota, Colombia, Cancun, Mexico. And then spending 4 years in Mexico City. Do not attack my feet, Leia. We had a fully furnished apartment downtown for 4 years, almost 5 years, and we paid about $650 a month for a fully furnished apartment. And that included water and maintenance. And we were less than a block from the American Embassy, like right downtown at the Ángel de Independencia. So you don't have to spend $2,500 a month on rent, but you have to speak Spanish and you have to, you know, live like a local. So I can definitely do, life in Mexico posts. Chris and I are continuing to do the Homestead stuff. Like, for example, you can kind of see it. It's catty corner right here. I did that video the day of the compost. So we've just been putting compost right here around that tree for months, and notice all the plant life there, all of our plants, and that literally is our little spice and herb garden. And then we have so much of this, like, scrap concrete block that's just sitting around that we went ahead and you can even see there's some of it back there to try to deal with water overflow, and then we have more around that tree right there. And then I use some here. There's even some here at the base around this tree. There's this block from previous people who lived here that's just all over the place. And rather than try to deal with throwing it out, we just reuse it, where we can. I mean, why not? But these are the kind of things. I've got a vote up, and some people have voted for more construction stuff, but there's only so much we can do this year. I still haven't put up the chicken wire around this, which is going to be happening sometime this week. We were going to do it a couple of days ago, and Chris was like, I'm not worried about the iguana, because she beat the crap out of the iguana with a stick the other day, and he hasn't come back for like 4 days. He literally, that tree right there is where most of them come from, and he has been up in the tree. He looks at our property, but he hasn't come down since Chris. She beat him. Like that video, the short that I put up, I got one of Sam watching the iguana and another one of me chasing the iguana out. He came back, and Chris took a stick and beat the crap out of him. And he couldn't get over the fence because she was hitting him so hard. But he hasn't come back since then. So she was like, I'm not going to worry about putting up the chicken wire yet. But that'll be something that happens. And then everything here is going to be happening on an as we can afford to do it basis, which is not right away. So it's all bits and pieces. It's somebody's up on the roof. Sam, what's up, Sam? How you doing? You're a good boy. It's pretty funny. We have bats that come out at night, and Sam and Smeagol were up on top like 2 nights ago. Just like their heads were just like, because they were watching the bats fly around here. Anyway, I could definitely do like life in Mexico tips after all my years here. Cost of living posts. We could do a cost of living post for sure. We could do a cost of produce post, because the produce can be much cheaper here, but it can also be, if you like, meat and cheese are about the same prices in the U.S. Like a full chicken, for us to buy a whole chicken right now at the lady down the road, because we did eat our roosters. We had how many roosters? We had 4 roosters, and we ate them. Chris butchered them, and we ate them. Kept the 2 hens because they're egg layers, and Chris is going to get some more hens at some point here in the new year. Now that this is built, there are 3 egg bays inside, and there's space to put 2 more on the sides, so we can have at least 5. But the space isn't huge, so short term, it was just get something up for 3 to 4 chickens. And then the idea is that once we get this tree blocked off by chicken wire, where they're going to start letting these girls out every day to just roam around the property. Anyway, a whole chicken, like to buy a whole chicken, not the live chicken, but to buy a full chicken, is like 10. It's like $10. So I mean, it's the same price as it is in the U.S. for the most part to go buy a full chicken. Now the difference is that these chickens are a bit bigger. Sam, you okay? Anyway, so I mean, produce can be cheaper because it's all local, but meat and cheese are still just as expensive. And then there's intricacies. I know the Life in a Small Pueblo post did pretty well when Chris and I were just talking about things at the park. We can definitely do more of those because it's a lot different living in a pueblo than it is living in the city. There's definitely some things you have to get used to, which, for better or for worse, some of them are okay to get used to, and some of them are not. Like the quiet, the slower pace of life is nice, but here's an example of something. When it gets hot in the summer months, like 90 degrees is like year round. 90 degrees. That's not hot for here. Hot is 100 to 105. That's like April, May into June, especially May. May is the hot month, but it starts getting hot by the end of April, and then you've got like a 6 to 8 week run where it's like gets up to like 105 every day. And the electricity will go out because there's so much overload. And this happens even in California and other places, Texas. But it can be very frustrating when it goes out and it's 105 degrees. Because when it goes out, it's not just that you don't have air conditioning, you also don't have a fan. You don't have anything. And if there's no breeze, like you can sit here. I remember one day, like last June, it was out for about 12 hours, the electricity. And people have told us that there have been times when the electricity has gone out for, 2 days. And I'm just like, I do not want to live here when it goes out for 2 days. I think the longest we had was like an 18-hour period last year, but it was like an overnight thing. So it went out at like 7 o'clock at night and then stayed out until the next day. But that 12-hour period happened on a really hot day. And we literally sat here underneath this tree and just sat here with like hand fans and just drank lots of water, and we had popsicles in the freezer, and so we were just eating popsicles and hoping that the freezer would keep them refrigerated for a while, But those are random occurrences that don't happen that much. I don't know. More stuff to come. I'm closing in on 15 minutes. I probably better shut up and go upload this video. Oop, there's a squirrel. Leia, where are you at? You see that guy right there? Leia has been trying to... I don't know where Leia is. She's not around, so she's not seeing. She's been trying to get that squirrel. Oh, nope. They all saw it. Leia is the one in the corner. She's freaking out. She's like, I want that squirrel so bad. She's been hunting that guy for like a week. And that was funny. They all, like 3 or 4 of them just went, phew. Anyway, I'll do life in Mexico posts, Pueblo posts, cost of living posts, and more. We'll probably do a property buying, like how do you buy a piece of property in Mexico post, because that was a unique process. I didn't have a lot to do with that. That was Chris handling all of the paperwork and everything, so Chris will be involved in that post. But it was a lot of running around and getting things notarized, and I think I did a video about it somewhere. It took 9 months for the paperwork to go through. Like, that was just, that was it. It was 9 months from the time of purchase to the time that we got our title in our name back from the federal government. They just knocked the chicken wire over because they're being obnoxious little kittens. So yeah, it was a 9-month process from purchase time to getting everything in our name in our hands. It took another few weeks to get our address registered, but it's still not up on Google because Google doesn't even recognize that there's a house here. It actually doesn't even recognize the church next door. This is a funny one. So the church has been here, I don't know how many years, but it doesn't show. If you look on Google Maps, it shows the house next to us, but then it shows nothing from there all the way down to the end of the block. So it doesn't. There's 2 buildings here. There's our building right in front of me, and then there's the church building. Google Maps does not show it, and so trying to get our address on Google Maps has been another. Because I can't order anything off of Amazon because we don't have an address that's located where someone can GPS it. Anyway, more to come. Thanks for following along. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. See you guys tomorrow.